Hey friends, Amanda here from Bare Bones Living. Welcome back to my kitchen, and today I have a fun one for you. I am participating in the 12 Days of Cookie collaboration hosted by Ashley over at CNC Farm. And I don't bake very often, but I have been craving sweets lately. And so I have made these before and they're so good. And today I'm going to be making some dark chocolate espresso Christmas cookies. I found them as Halloween cookies because if you make them with dark chocolate cocoa powder, the cookie actually comes out almost black. And if you used orange M&Ms, they would look like very Halloween-y. But because this is Christmas, I got some Christmas colored M&Ms. But let me just show you really quick. This is a fairly easy cookie recipe. These are big cookies and it's going to come together actually pretty fast. For our ingredients today, we're going to be using 1 cup of room temperature butter, 3/4 of a cup of packed brown sugar, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 2 large eggs, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 3/4 of a cup of cocoa powder, and like I mentioned, I would highly suggest, last time I made this, I made it with Hershey's dark chocolate cocoa powder, but I used the last of what I had, so this is what I have today. They will not be as dark as I had made them before, but they're still going to be delicious. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of instant espresso coffee, 1 cup of dark chocolate chips, and 1.5 cups of M&Ms. Now, I bought mini M&Ms, so I don't know how much I'm actually going to put in. I measured out 1/2 cup of mini M&Ms, and that looks like a lot of M&Ms, so I'm going to start with 1/2 cup and we'll see how that goes over. And I'm going to be using my stand mixer to mix this. This is a really thick batter, and using the powered mixer is very helpful. I'm going to start by creaming together the butter and the sugar. So like I said, this has been sitting out and is room temperature. And then I have my 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, packed brown sugar, and my cup of granulated sugar. So to that, I'm going to add my 2 eggs and my 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and I'm going to mix it up again. In a separate mixing bowl, I'm going to add 2 cups of flour, three-quarters of a cup of cocoa powder, a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of instant espresso, Well, I would be adding 1 teaspoon of instant espresso, but mine actually went bad, so that's gonna really stink for my recipe. But that's where you would add that, and then 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. And the espresso powder you don't actually really taste, it just pairs really well with dark chocolate. But then I'm gonna just mix this all together, and we're going to gradually add these dry ingredients into our mixer. Be forewarned, I am not graceful at this kind of a thing. Seems to be working very well, and I'm not making that big of a mess. You can hear how the mixer is having a little bit of a harder time. It's a really thick batter. Take it up a notch. Maybe that was a bad idea. We'll just let it struggle so it doesn't blow all over my kitchen. So as you can see, this is a really thick batter. And where the KitchenAid mixer is very helpful mixing this. So I'm going to get all this batter out of the attachment blade, and then I'm going to hand mix in the chocolate chips and the M&Ms so as not to break them. Now, what kid wouldn't want to lick this beater, right? So, like I said, I'm just going to add in that cup of dark chocolate chips, and I'm starting with 1/2 cup of the mini M&Ms, and I'm just going to hand mix this in so I don't break them. Woo-wee! That was quite the arm workout. This is a very thick batter. And I really wanted to try to incorporate all those. So that was a workout. But now I'm just going to take an ice cream scoop and this is just a regular old ice cream scoop, and I'm just going to plop it onto my sheet. I've actually never used one of these baking mats before. I have a bunch of them, and I never think to use them until after I've already baked something. So I'm going to experiment with this today. And I also have another one, just parchment paper. But I'm not going to press this down. I'm going to make 3 rows of 4. And these will flatten out as they cook. Or round out as they cook, I suppose you would say. And it's kind of like a lazy cookie, which is totally my style. And a freeform cookie. Nothing fussy, just come as you will kind of a cookie. And then I'm going to bake these for 8 to 10 minutes at 350. Now tell me that that is not the most festive looking, the deliciously chocolatey festive cookies you've ever seen. So that's pretty much it. It's a really easy recipe. I made some of these extra huge cookies. You could scale it down a little bit and you'd have more, but I have about 19 or 20 here. Obviously if I made smaller cookies I'd have more of them here, but that's okay. I did try that cooking mat that silicone cooking mat instead of a parchment paper, and that worked out great. I'm happy with that, and I love that I can reuse that. I just always forget that I have them until after I'm done baking. But moment of truth obviously is the taste test, right? And these are still fresh and ooey gooey from the oven. Super moist, super soft. And super delicious. The espresso coffee, instant espresso coffee, is an optional ingredient. I do highly recommend it. It just accentuates the dark chocolate flavoring so much more. And also, like I mentioned, I didn't have the special dark chocolate cocoa powder. So these are more of like a chocolate colored cookie, which is totally fine also, instead of a black cookie. And also if you had that dark chocolate cocoa powder, that would just add to your dark chocolate flavoring even more. But I mean, you can't ask for much more than this in a cookie. These are like double chocolate, dark chocolate cookies that taste absolutely delicious. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you give it a try. Who doesn't love a good cookie? Now it's a festive cookie. And I want to thank Ashley for inviting me to this collaboration. I will put the recipe below as well as the playlist. Go check out all the other cookie recipes. I think there's like 36 recipes that are supposed to be coming out. She's worked really, really hard at this. And it's been a lot of fun watching all the different recipes. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for stopping by today and joining in on our journey here at Bare Bones Living. We'll catch you on the next one.